This is Prime Crime Network.
Viewer discretion is advised.
An active shooter is an individual actively engaging in killing or attempting to kill people in a confined and populated area. In most cases, active shooters use firearms, and there is no pattern or method to their selection of victims. In the United States, the Investigative Assistance for Violent Crimes Act of 2012 defines mass killings as 3 or more killings in a single incident. And now, our featured program.
I want to once again get back to the morning of the shooting.
It's real because I did it, and I take responsibility for doing, the crime itself.
The Cleveland Elementary School shooting was a school shooting that took place on January 29th, 1979, at Grover Cleveland Elementary School in San Diego, California. The principal and a custodian were killed. 8 children and a police officer were injured. A 16-year-old girl, Brenda Spencer, who lived in a house across the street from the school, was convicted of the shooting, charged as an adult, and she pleaded guilty to 2 counts of murder and assault with a deadly weapon, and was sentenced to life in prison with a chance at parole after 25 years.
The hit song written about the day the bullets started flying portrays Brenda Spencer as a young woman with ice flowing through her veins. But now she wants a trial after pleading guilty years ago.
On Monday morning, January 29th, 1979, Spencer began shooting from her house at children waiting for 53-year-old Principal Burton Ragg to open the gates at Grover Cleveland Elementary School. She injured 8 children. She began with 9-year-old Cam Miller, since he was wearing Spencer's favorite color, blue. Spencer also shot and killed Ragg, as he and teacher Darrell Barnes tried to help children. She also killed 56-year-old custodian Mike Schur, as he tried to pull a student to safety. A 28-year-old police officer, Robert Robb, had responded to a call for assistance during the incident, where he was also wounded in the neck as he arrived. Further casualties were avoided only because the police obstructed her line of fire by moving a garbage truck in front of the school entrance. After firing 36 times, Spencer barricaded herself inside her home for several hours. While there, she spoke by telephone to a reporter who had been randomly calling telephone numbers in the neighborhood. She told the reporter she had shot at the school children and adults because, simply, quote, "I don't like Mondays."
Because I'm really not a cold-blooded killer.
This livens up the day. She also told police that the children and adults whom she had shot were easy targets and that she was going to come out shooting. Ultimately, she surrendered and left the house, reportedly after being promised a Burger King meal by negotiators. Police officers found beer and whiskey bottles cluttered around the house, but said Spencer did not appear to be intoxicated when she was arrested. But crime scene photos contradict these accounts. Spencer was charged as an adult and pleaded guilty to 2 counts of murder and assault with a deadly weapon on April 4th, 1980, a day after her 18th birthday. She was sentenced to 25 years to life. In prison, Spencer was diagnosed with epilepsy and received medication to treat epilepsy and depression. While at the California Institution for Women in Chino, she worked repairing electronic equipment. Under the terms of her sentencing, Spencer became eligible for hearings to consider her suitable for parole in 1993. At the first hearing in 1993, Spencer said she had hoped police would shoot her, and that she had been a user of alcohol and drugs at the time of the crime. although the results of the drug test done when she was arrested and taken into custody were negative. At her 2001 parole hearing, Spencer claimed that her father had been subjecting her to beatings and sexual abuse, but he had said the allegations were not true. And the parole board did not believe her story either. She has repeatedly been to the parole board to be paroled, and she has steadily been denied. Her next parole opportunity will be in 2025.
Are there any kids hurt?
The shooting began around 8:30 a.m. A sniper was firing random shots at school children on their way to class at Cleveland Elementary. 8 children and 2 adults, the school principal and a custodian, were felled quickly. The principal and custodian would die. For a while, the sniper, 16-year-old Brenda Spencer, kept police at bay, firing from her house across the street from the school at anything that moved. A police trainee was shot while trying to assist a wounded child. Inside the school, 320 students huddled in the auditorium, and just before noon they were evacuated in buses. Anxious parents were reunited with their children. Police had the situation in hand now. While SWAT units approached and surrounded the house, police, parents, and friends negotiated with Brenda Spencer on the phone. She was armed with a .22 caliber semi-automatic with a scope and may have taken drugs and alcohol. She at first refused to talk surrender, claiming she could hold out for a week. But towards 3 p.m. it became a question of surrender or SWAT people storming the house after a tear gas barrage. Shortly after 3, the word was out that Spencer would give it up, and then she did. SWAT officers escorted her from the house to custody, and the long and terrible San Carlos sniper siege was over.
Prime Crime Network.
It was exclusive.
I want to once again get back to the morning of the shooting.
It's real because I did it, you know, and I take responsibility for doing, you know, the crime itself. I remember up to a certain point clearly, and that was, I guess, when the drugs started to kick in, because all that morning I had been drinking and taking the pills with the whiskey and stuff. Past a certain point, it just all kind of phases out.
I can hear people out there saying that even though you were on drugs, you were cognizant because you took the rifle and you took aim and you shot those people.
Actually, I wasn't, though. I really wasn't. And in the transcripts, how it came up that the scope was set off and it wasn't firing right. The weapon itself wasn't even firing right. They had trouble aiming it, the police. And it was, you couldn't aim with it because of how the scope was. It was knocked off.
So the implications of that are?
What I can figure out is basically I was just shooting at the commando types that I saw, and I didn't realize that there was people back there behind that. I saw the commando types, coming after me that I was hallucinating on, and from what I can figure out from the reports and all that, I was shooting at them. And it didn't really dawn on me or sink in that, hey, there's people back there, that are real people and stuff. So it's not that I was aiming or taking deliberate aim. It was that they got hit because they were behind what I was seeing.
In listening to you, I don't understand something. You were suicidal, you were on drugs, yet your father gave you a .22 for Christmas. Why did he do that?
To this day, I don't understand that, because the counselors had all told him that I was suicidal. If I had a child and the counselors had told me that, there's no way that I would have given them a rifle or a gun or anything.
Brenda, what you're really remembered for is you saying, "I hate Mondays." Did you say, "I hate Mondays"?
I don't remember saying that. Right now we're trying to get some evidence that I did say that. I'd like to hear the tape. And it really influenced how people saw me and and thought about, you know, the whole case, it's just, I'd like to know that I actually did say that if I did.
If you said that, it makes you sound cold-blooded.
Yeah, and you know, on PCP, you're liable to say anything.
Brenda, what I have read is you have no remorse about all of this, but I sit here and you're filled with remorse.
Well, it's not something that you just do and don't think about. You think about it constantly. You know, you're the cause of people's dying, and I really don't want to cause them any more pain. I hope that they're all doing okay, that they're all, you know, that I haven't scarred them for life, that they're able to deal with what happened and get on, you know, move on, and that I haven't done any permanent damage, you know, psychologically and stuff to them. You know, I hope that they're able to continue on and live a good life and have a good life.
Thank you for watching Prime Crime Network, your source for urban and suburban and around the world news. Hit the subscribe, like, and the notification bell. And check us out on primecrimenetwork.com.